Hello and welcome to Coffee with the Chairman at the Canadian Business Council. My name is Ruda. I am the Chairman of the Canadian Business Council. And with me is Patrick Daniel, who is the co-founder of Blue Camel Designs. Hi, Patrick. How are you?
Hi. Thank you guys for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and to do this over obviously, Zoom, given the limitations we have of being in person today.
I know, but regardless of the limitations, it's an honor to have someone as esteemed as yourself with
Thank
us
you, Ruda. Thank you so
Patrick,
much.
Before we get started, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about sort of who you are, where you're coming from, and sort of the ethos behind Blue Camel Designs?
Yeah, sure. I've been in Dubai 44 years. My dad came here in 1975, so I've spent pretty much all my life. But I had the privilege of spending a good 10 years of my life in Canada. I went to Montreal. I did my undergrads at Concordia University. And thankfully for the Canadian government, I became a fellow Canadian and very proud one to be so. And yes, it's a great achievement, great decision for us to immigrate there. And I came back to Dubai, I would say 99. My time in Canada was almost from 93 up till about 2000. So yeah, late 2000, I came back to Dubai, and I used to work in an IT company for a good 2-3 years, and then decided to start an interior design business, thankfully to my partner and my dad, who's an architect. And I think at that point in time, I don't know how long you guys have been here, but the economy was going crazy all over construction, and all these like mega projects was going around. And I think it was just a good time to be into the construction world, or let's say the contracting world. So we started Blue Camel in 2004. And the reason we named it Blue Camel Design is because we wanted something that signifies or goes back to our roots. Bruno and I have been in Dubai for the same amount of time, so we decided to give it a Blue Camel name. And we gave it an orange color, just to give it that twist that it's nothing that you would get. That's the standard, design work. So yeah, that's a short brief of how Blue Camel came about in 2004.
So, Patrick, I have a deep admiration for anyone involved in the construction and in interior
Thank you
design
so much.
because particularly in Dubai, it's one of the areas that I think Dubai does really, really well. But
Yes.
I think much in a way that I'm sure is very frustrating for you, it does really, really well because there's an intense competition amongst people in this world. So obviously getting started must have been very challenging, and it must have taken some real guts. Can you tell us a little bit about the challenges that you faced getting involved in the interior design space in the UAE?
Yes. So to start with, I would say we were 3 people, Bruno and I, and like a receptionist. And I think we needed a push, and that push came from my father. He was very kind enough to help us out. And since he's been here in such a long span, through his contacts and through our contacts, we started picking up jobs slowly. But I would say, the gold rush that was happening back in California, back in the day. So
Yeah.
It was a construction rush for all of us. So it was difficult. I think the difficulty was trying to sustain the number of jobs that came our way rather than actually getting jobs, because it was just, crazy. Dubai was going through a big construction boom, and you had to find a balance between, taking on work and delivering work at the same time, because taking on work and not delivering it, you really haven't really succeeded overall. So the challenges was growing while the pace was growing, was going crazy in Dubai. So for the most part, we tried to take baby steps, but I think at some point we were being pushed, like, come on, go faster, go faster. So so I think these were the challenges, recruiting people, growing, delivering, meeting client expectations. So these were some of the challenges. I'm sure everybody faced these same challenges in the construction industry.
For sure. And then of course the difficulty is, I think a lot of people who come from that era of Dubai's existence, it's very much a gold rush to less of a gold rush. I mean, the economy here, particularly in the construction space, it behaves in a much more mature manner than it used to. It isn't, like, we won our project, let's get some trucks, let's just go out there and do this right now.
Yes.
which is
Definitely.
pretty much the culture of the place before. How was it shifting from that, from from a sort of mentality of excess and getting everything together to the mentality that it is today, which is maturity, stiff
Yes,
competition,
definitely.
and really having
Definitely.
to differentiate yourself?
I think that's the key question. How do people weather this sort of like challenges that you face today? No denying it. There is a saturation of contractors and designers, but much like anybody else, you have to try to always give a value add to the market, or try to have that differentiating sort of aspect. I won't say that we haven't faced our commercial challenges, contracting challenges, payment challenges. These are very common here. But like you said, the market has matured, and I think it's just a matter of survival of the fittest. And as you go through these times of COVID, for example, it gets even more and more challenging, because the number of jobs are really like diminishing, and people's investments are also sort of like they have the money, but they're just one foot in, one foot out. So
Yeah.
trying to get there, it takes a bit. But the more important, I feel, is also a lot of people probably have reached a certain standard of delivery, and they've reached the quality, and the last thing you want is try to like diminish that because you're downsizing or you're reducing staff or whatever it is. So you want to find a nice balance between delivery, gaining jobs, making a profit, and trying to sustain. So if you find that balance, which is extremely difficult,
Yeah, of course, it's
so
not
that'll
easy. It's
be
easy to
good.
say, it's
Yes.
not easy to do.
Yes, yes. I don't have hair, so I can't pull out anything. So at least I don't have to pull my hair out.
So look, you've been in business for 15 years, and that's frankly a lot. I mean, that's considering when you started and what the market has been through. That's a lot. So when you look back on the 15 years that you've been in the game, what are you most proud of? Like when you look back at the work that you've done.
You
Um,
know, our work, the good part of our work, it speaks for itself. So if I do a restaurant, or I do a lounge, or I do a hotel, or I do something, a lot of the times these are references that people go see. What I'm really proud about is just actually, being able to grow a company that houses close to almost 400 people now, and I'm hoping that most of them are happy where they are, and they're enjoying that sort of career journey of theirs, because it's not just about me, it's about also the other people that are here. If they feel they've benefited from being in Blue Camel Design or a group, and if taken something with them even when they leave, that's something to be proud of. And that's on an internal level. And then on an external level, it's just our clients, clients coming back, getting return business, people going and admiring some of the work we do, whether it's in Dubai Mall or with Emirates Airlines, or hotels. So these at least in their career path.
That's fantastic. So, look, of course, interior design and design in general going through a little bit of a rethink these days because of COVID-19.
Yes.
And so, I have two questions for you. Number one, in general, if you're sitting here in December, or in January 2020, pre-COVID, what would you have said was the hottest design or interior design trend that you were looking at? And to
Oh,
what degree do you think will COVID-19 have a lasting impact on the way in which we think about the way we design our spaces? Do you
I'll tell
think
you,
that there will be a long-term impact at all?
I think Dubai has really set certain standards in terms of design and build. I mean, I've traveled, I've been to many places, but the stuff that we've done here are phenomenal.
Sure.
The UAE, the whole Arab world, have done really well. The GCC in general, but Dubai, the UAE, really phenomenal stuff. So the things that we've been exposed to here, I don't think a lot of other countries have that much privilege from across the board. So maybe one contractor or two contractor get a chance to work on mega projects, but here you get that chance. So the hardest thing that you would say are actually, I could say a lounge that we've done, or a restaurant that we've done, or a hotel that we've done, but there's so many that truly, like, if you just see the museum that's coming up now, Museum of the Future, I mean, that is a phenomenal structure that's coming up in Dubai.
Incredible.
So think about it this way: the guys who worked on it, how many times have they had that opportunity, to do it? So, for example, we worked with. I don't know if you guys have been to Al Sirkal Avenue. So there's that mega concrete structure called Concrete, actually, and
Okay.
that was designed by Rem Koolhaas, which is one of the very famous architects globally. And the fact that we had the opportunity to collaborate with Al Sirkal and build that sort of structure, that is something we're very, very proud of. And that's has a lot of significance to the art world, to the to the place where Al Sirkal is. This is, I would say, on the proud side, And for COVID, I don't know how everybody feels, but doesn't look like it's going anytime.
Anywhere. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Exactly.
Yeah.
This is the only time we can see each other without our masks on.
Yes, exactly. I actually was wondering, I'm like, do I go to the Canadian Business Council and wear a mask, or do I sit, offline?
It's a real dilemma.
Yes, yes. I'll tell you, this is less nervous than if I was if I was to come and there's a camera sitting in front of me. But I think for COVID, look, pandemics are nothing to do with design. Pandemics are part of life. I think we're just passing through one which we never thought it would happen. Is it going to be long lasting? No. Will it change the way we are? Yes. Social distancing. I, for example, love hygiene and cleanliness, and I think that should remain something we work with. But the office environment, yes, there is a social distancing, but I think in a couple of years, people just get back to normal, and you'll be back in conference rooms with 10 people. You'll be back in in the pantry areas, and you'll be back in chill out zones. So it's just a matter of getting accustomed back to normal life. But a lot of places today are integrating that sort of social distancing, whether restaurants or offices or working from home. So will it impact? Yes. Will it be long, like for the rest of our 10 years? No, I just think in the next 2-3 years, if the government eases, if the virus dies out, if the vaccine really works well, I think we can go back to, socially being active, and again, design will change, and the whole if you want, social thing will change again.
So I take it that, Patrick, once the vaccine dies out, we're going to see you back at the music festival.
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of our work is in restaurants and retail, and that's one of the hardest hit areas, which is F&B. So you imagine you build a restaurant for a client, and then they operate at 30% capacity or 50% capacity. Hotels are operating. So once that kind of comes back and people come in, and tourists get back into coming into Dubai, it'll really help everybody sort of boom and try to help them back on their feet.
I think that's actually the biggest tragedy coming out of COVID as well. I mean, particularly with restaurants, there's so much thought that goes into small details in restaurants.
Yes.
And the fact that you can only operate at 30% capacity means that there's not that many people who get to appreciate just the wealth of thought that goes into them.
Yes.
Patrick, so much.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And thank you again for having coffee with me. Well,
I'll just say something. I'm really, proud to be part of the Canadian Business Council, and I think you guys are doing a great initiative. Really, you have a great team on board. I love reading your emails, and if there's a message for anybody, I would say, please, be active with the Canadian Business Council from my part and everybody else's part. Just for Canada, for the council itself. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on this.
Thank you, Patrick. We love having members like you. Take care.
Thank you, Ruda. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.